Welcome back, everybody, to Gardens, the Untold story. And Andy, of course, is always hiding out. I don't know about that guy. But we're going to be talking about healing the soil one garden at a time, starting with the soil itself, because that's really where it all starts. So, Andy, take it away, man, because you're the one that wanted to talk about, disease and etc. in the soil. So, what do you got for us, bro?
Well, I started business in 1970.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I've been at it for quite a while. And this is from experience. And so I learned from experience all diseases in trees and plants, everything growing starts in the soil. It's in the soil. I also learned from a doctor, all diseases in human beings, cancer, you name it, it's already in your body. You just haven't activated.
Bingo.
Okay, right? And
yep.
so, and that's how in 1970, 71, I did How to Heal the Earth in Your Spare Time. I really should have said How to Heal the Soil in Your Spare Time. To me, earth and soil are the same thing, even though earth is really a combination of just the soil, but the air and the water. And, that's all part of it too. But I've learned from experience, and there isn't a day. Hi, Silly Lily. I love that name. I have a song I wrote named Silly Lily, by the way. I just haven't finished it yet. It's about 3 hours long. So I have to,
Oh, no, leave it 3 hours long. I'm sure Silly Lily would probably sit there and smoke a big doobie and just enjoy it. Just go, oh, yeah. She'll have to wear headphones because you'll do it binaural, right?
Make sure you wear the headphones. And I tell people, don't do it while you're driving. Oh, no problem, man. As soon as I get it done, I will figure out how to send you a link. I'm sure Ken knows how to do it. To Silly Lily, right? You can send him a link for the song. But so what I was saying is that throughout, it's been my experience, for example, and I use it from real life because I do a business. This is what I do for a living, okay? So I was just that, and I probably, because I apologize because what's happening is that I am going through a health crisis. I'm allergic to junk food. Seriously, I can't even do junk food. And it's gotten to really to the point where I have to read the glasses, and these people have these tiny little things in the ingredients, and I go, "What are you are you hiding this? What?" I diggity dank, and so it's prevalent in everything I get, and I just finished watching a YouTube video from one of my favorite doctors that was talking about fructose, added sugar. The added sugar is not even, he was saying, you don't need any sugar in your body. You don't need any sugar, which you produce sugar, you get sugar from fruit and stuff like that. That's okay from normal sugar that you get.
That's how you're supposed to get it.
Right. But so, I don't want to get carried away because I can talk about this body like I can talk about the soil. The similarities are mind-boggling. Okay,
and that's it, Andy. It really is the similarities that we want to coordinate. We want to connect the data points. So, it's so simple to have the sugars. What would you call the sugar for the soil, though?
Right. Okay, so the sugar for the soil what I was going to say in terms of the soil and the diseases in the soil is that the sugar is not in the soil. The sugar is in the plant that's connected to the soil. There's a similarity, okay? So it's not in the soil, but the soil gets it together to produce to help the plant produce the sugar. And the way also in the production of the sugar, the soil puts the minerals into the sugar. So that the plant
no, hold on. I don't know that a lot of people understand that when the plant puts out the exudates, 90% of those exudates come back up. So the plant's producing the sugar, putting it into the soil, and then drawing the minerals back up into the plant. That's basically what you're saying, correct?
No, what I'm saying is that the minerals feed the plants. The microbes feed the plants, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there are different kinds of microbes. They all have specializations. So one of these microbes, what they do is they use carbonic. They take carbon dioxide, carbon, and turn it into carbonic acid, which then they dissolve the minerals. They dissolve the minerals into a form that's available to the plants.
Mm-hmm.
There's another microbes that will then take it from the microbes who made that and make
Yep.
it and make it available in a way that the plant then it gives it to the plant. The root hairs gives it to the plant, and
Yep.
the plant creates sugar.
Mm-hmm.
Through photosynthesis, whatever system else, it creates the sugar. But the sugar itself has the trace metals that was put in by the microbes.
Right, out of the soil.
Out of the soil, right? Exactly right. And so the disease, to me, what's interesting about the diseases and stuff, and I've done this from experience over and over again, is that, and it's the same thing with the human body. What you put in is what you get out. So these people are putting in junk into the soil, chemicals, and it's a form. I tell people the chemical fertilizers are the cocaine for the soil.
Yeah, really, pretty much, right? Or for the plant, anyway.
Right, it's for cocaine for the plant, but basically, cocaine for the plant, right? Exactly right. And so the similarities are very interesting because it's what you're feeding. I learned a long time ago. You really should feed the soil. Fuck the plants. You feed the soil, right? So what you feed the soil is what the plants are going to get. There's no way around it. So if you put junk in, which basically is chemical fertilizers, pesticides, herbicides, city water. I was just talking to somebody today. He's saying, well, okay, let me get this straight. You come around here every month and you spray microbes, but city water kills the microbes. I go, yes, they do, laddie. Yes, they do. The chlorine and everything else just kills them dead. And that's why I got to keep bringing it back on a regular basis. So I explained to him about what a fertigation unit is.
Okay.
And it's a very self-explanatory. Fertigation. You can get it right off the bat. What is a fertigation unit?
You're asking me what a fertigation unit is?
Because the word tells you what it is.
Well, you're spraying fertilizer, or you're basically, that's what I would say is somehow you're applying a fertilizer as a fertigation, right?
So it's basically a unit. It's made of hard plastic or something really hard to handle the pressure. It's got a dial on top. You put your liquids in there. It's originally made by our favorite MG company. You put the MG product in there, close the lid, and you basically attach it to their sprinkler system. So where the line comes into the property and then it gets spread out amongst everything. That's where you hook it in. So basically, you cut into it and you put the two lines and the little line right in the middle. That little line in the middle has two other lines that come out to the unit. Irrigation. No, it's fertigation unit. That's the name.
Okay. So basically what you're doing is you're tapping in and you're drawing from that
water flows through and
siphons it out.
1 to 1,000. 1 part to 1,000.
Yeah, and it's metered at that.
This stuff is heavy duty chemical fertilizer, and it goes out to the sprinkler system, right?
Yeah.
So early on in my youth, I knew about the chemicals in the water, and I also know that we are also constantly dumping all kinds of chemicals into the soil, left and right, left and right. Human beings are very good at that, from plastic, whatever. There's more toxins in your garage, right, than anywhere else. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And under the sink.
Under the sink and other places like that, this stuff is really, really intense. And so I figured, okay, how do I? And at that time, I was only in the early 70s. They hadn't created a fertigation unit. It was something fairly recently done. And so I think I learned about it maybe 30 years ago, 40 years ago, somewhere in there. Because a guy came up to me and says, you should try this fertigation unit. You put your MG in there, and you hook it up. And I says, dude, what does it say on the side of my truck? Don't panic, it's organic. So at first I said, no, I'm not interested in putting the MG in there. But then I said, wait a minute, can I put anything else in there? And he goes, well, what do you mean by anything else? I'll buy. So I bought a unit. And what I did was clever because it's 1 to 1,000. That's because it's chemical fertilizer. So what I did, I drilled. I made the opening a little bigger. It's made it 1 to 100. The ratio 1 to 100. And in there, I would put my compost, a little bag of compost. So the compost tea basically was making compost tea, which you changed it on a regular basis. I would put other things in there, like my super seaweed. I have a super seaweed. the product that I spray my customers with, plus I also sell it on my website, just as a private label. You don't believe what I had to do. If I was to process it, it would cost me $40,000 because I have to prove everything that's in there. And they told me, dude, there's stuff in here we don't even know about. What's in it? What is it? You have to explain. They said, you haven't invented it yet, right? It's primordial soup. It's a mixture of microbes or ancient microbes, basically. So cool. So you can put those in your unit. Yeah. Anything organic you could put in there. You have to be careful in terms of clogging the system up. And
micron size. You have to run it through a proper size filter. Yeah.
Right. You have to. Otherwise, it does clog up a lot. You do not want to.
And quick.
Yeah, really quick because it's biologically alive. It was just. Yeah. So I would add things like nitron A35. If you guys have never heard of nitron A35, nitron A-35, you should look it up. Nitron A35 was invented a guy in Fayetteville, Arkansas, and it's enzyme. It's a basic enzyme product. Wonderful product which helps. You can tell people more about enzymes than I would, but basically enzymes are very important in the soil. So it sends it out through the unit, and one of the things I was telling you about this guy is you can also add in the fertigation unit a bunch of things, different things that will counteract the chlorine. So because chlorine is constantly going on, so that's why the nitron A35 is a perfect one to use. A lot of these things, what you want something that's not so bioactivated that will blow up on you if you don't release the pressure, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I learned that from experience. You do not want to add like fish emulsion. You do not want to add that in there, right? Or even compost. If you put compost in there, you lit a tea bag, a nice green. You leave it alone in the heat, you're going to get a problem. You're going to have a problem.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? I've learned. So just today, I was talking. People have been calling me up because of all the rains we've been having, and they've been telling me to come and take a look. And so peach leaf curl. You know what that is, right?
Not a clue.
Well, it's exactly what it is. It's peach leaf curl. It's called peach leaf curl. It doesn't have to be peaches, but peaches get it. Any hard nut fruit, any fruit that has a hard nut in the center, will get it, right? So I want you to spray the tree. He's got this disease. So so people are there. He's pointing at the leaf and pointing at the curl. He's pointing, and I'm looking down. I said, "What are you looking down for?" Right? I says, "Well, I don't see anything here that this poor plant is telling me," because it's basically the plant's saying, look what I'm growing in, because it's like clay. Oh, this is substrate, soil. It's not even, to me, soil is the top layer. Then underneath it is where you have the substrate. Well, if you take away the soil, that's what you got. And that's what people are growing it because they have stuff.
They're trying to grow it.
And these gardeners Mother Nature's constantly putting stuff down and they're taking it away. They're putting stuff down and they're taking it away. So there's no, rain, wind. Santa Ana's will come and blow everything. They said, we can't put compost down. It gets blown away. Yeah, if you just lay it on top, you have to, right?
Yeah.
Blend it in. There's lots of ways. So I told him, it's a soil disease. How can it be in the soil? It's on the tree. There it is right up there. It's not in the soil. And he's like, so
that's a nice way to put it there,
Yeah. So, and I was trying to explain to him how the cycle gets continued. Same thing with diseases in roses. How they have all the diseases and the leaves are covered. Any plant. So when they have a disease, they drop their leaves, right?
Yeah.
And the leaves dry and goes right back into the soil again.
It's supposed to. Yeah.
Right. And so what's interesting is that what I've learned from experience is that it doesn't matter the disease, because people say, well, you need to tell me the name of this disease. I said, no, I don't. What you need to do is make your soil so, let's see, how do I put it? The more diversity of microbes in the soil, the better.
Yes. Yeah.
Basically, you don't want to have one type of microbes in the soil, which is impossible to do anyway. That's why you have a wide range, a wide diversity of microbes in the soil, right? And all these things are they're very specific in how they deal with diseases. Diseases they're in the soil, but they can't get established because the microbes would not allow them to be born, so to speak, or to be activated. See what I'm saying, right? The things that happen in the soil, they keep the diseases in balance. When you don't have the microbes and the proper blend of microbes in the soil, the disease that triggers the diseases to start.
Yeah.
See, and then what happens is that, so when a lot of times especially with the rain, because what happens with rain, gets a lot of water, everything goes right back up into the air, and the plants right there going, but the real reason why happens that is a dual thing. That at the same time that the diseases are starting. Now the diseases are only starting because what happens when the soil gets waterlogged, the microbes are no longer performing their duties, and they are no longer producing the trace minerals and the food that they need to feed the plants. That stopped. So here the plant's not getting the food at the same time that the diseases is coming.
Yeah.
Two are connected.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you had a next door neighbor who had living soil, well, for starters, you couldn't have the next door neighbor. Because I think my experience there has been that this one guy, for example, went to a place and his house is beautiful. Everything's beautiful. The next door neighbor is beautiful. The other next door neighbor, everybody around and they don't do anything. We don't do anything. We don't know what's going on. That's because the neighbor, the guy in the middle there, is continually feeding the soil, making microbes, and they're spreading out. They spread out. You see, and so, the thing that the people need to understand is that it's in the soil. I love it. It's the biology. It's the biology.
It's all about the biology, because without the biology, nothing happens. No mineral moves, no concentrate moves, and it's when you're out of balance that you have the problem, and that's where the water is drowning them. They can't breathe. You're losing a bunch. They're going into a stasis form, and then it's out of balance, and the bad bacteria and viruses, they get into your plant, and that's where everything gets sick.
Right, and pests have genetically, throughout the centuries, learned how to take advantage of that. So when the pest, just say I'm a bark beetle or any pest that you can think of, right? I remember we talked last time about they're building with refractometers built into them. They can look at a plant and go, yeah, that's for me, right? No, I'm leaving that one alone, right?
Yeah.
So, and they also come from the soil.
Mm-hmm.
They also come from the soil. And so, and if they happen to come from the same soil, and it's not a coincidence that they will come from the same diseased soil that's diseased. So this bug will come out and say, whoopee, and they will carry with them their I forget the name of it, but they basically means that they take the disease with them, and when they go attack a plant, they also bring the disease as well. So a bug can fly around looking for a plant and go over there. So it has to be. You only have to have one disease property, and the bugs are coming out, and they'll go around looking for other plants in the area that's perfect for them to eat.
Well, yes, and it's back to that synergistic relationship, Andy, where the bug that would consume that plant that's not healthy is the bug that shows up, and because they're designed to tear the plant down, return it to the soil, so the next generation gets the nutrients that plant was able to absorb.
That's their job.
Yeah.
But like I always tell people this.
And yes, Ghetto.
So the lack of building blocks for immunothermal defense allows the disease to flourish. Yes, exactly. That's it. Exactly. You're very good, Ghetto hippie. You're not a hippie after all, man. Most people.
And then he's got this one: dehumates neutralize chlorine. Do you have an answer to that one?
Okay, so it has to be in combination. Dehumates by itself do not neutralize the chlorine. What neutralizes the chlorine is a biologically active soil that produces their own counteractive. What does they call it? Where they have a liquid that they produce, and that liquid, it basically it's sterilized. It kills any foreign matter. Like chlorine, it breaks it down to chlorine into basically its components.
Yeah, so it breaks the molecule apart, or the atom apart, or the molecule part down to the atoms, and then it's no longer chlorine.
Right, exactly right. So, and you would think that that's one reason why I always go to in that fertigation unit, maybe we should be pumping more microbes out through that. And that does work. There are a couple of people that picked up on that a long time ago. That's what they do. They go once a week, they replace it because, you have to constantly be adding new product in there. And it needs to be kept out of the sun. And microbes are being sent out. Microbes will eat the chlorine right up. And by the time it gets spread out to everybody else, you have a clean product.
Yeah.
And
that's what you want.
And that's what you want. So I've learned. So my experience has been that people are taught, just like with the body, keep eating that junk food, but take this pill. So they tell you this is normal, that this disease is here. So you spray this product, you're good. Keep using the MG or whatever other stuff you want to use. That's fine because that's normal to get this disease, and it's normal to use Roundup or whatever else we have decided that you can use.
Yeah.
They tell you that's exactly the same message that they tell you. And eat all the junk food you want, but make sure you come to my office once a week, and I'll take care of all your diseases. I was just watching my doctor. This doctor is really cool. I was watching him. He's talking about fructose, and how fructose is not the same fructose. So it's called added sugar. If you look at the label, it'll say added sugar. Now, fructose is high fructose corn syrup.
It's a bad one.
Yeah, exactly right. It's poison. And so what they did was they made it the latest version of this high fructose corn syrup. They made another version. It's 100 times more concentrated in fructose than the previous one. They were going to call it, if you eat this sugar, you die, but they figured maybe we should give it a simple name. Let's just call it fructose. We're going to call it fructose. So I got confused. I go, fructose. Fructose comes from plants, from fruits, vegetables. I mean, apples, peaches, that's where I get my fructose from. As a matter of fact, your body makes fructose. Exactly right. And they know this. They know this. They make it as sweet as possible. So they want it so sweet. And 80% of the people in the United States have all these problems directly from the fructose. And the doctors no idea. They said, no, fructose is good. It's people with diabetes. They take the fructose. That's good because it doesn't affect your diabetes. But it causes liver problems, diseases, all kinds of other things, right? Dementia. Who knew? Dementia. All these other things it causes.
Yeah. And they're the ones with the dementia, brother, because they're the ones, they know exactly what they're doing. And it's so ridiculous that, at least people are starting to realize the truth, about a lot of this stuff.
There's so many things that are just outright lies. Just outright lies. And for me, I always say, well, okay, that's a lie, and I can prove it to you why it's a lie, and it always relates to the two things always go hand in hand. We have our own soil that we take with us. Yeah, it's in my stomach. That's our own soil, because we when we first started as organisms, we were in the soil. We couldn't leave. We were like a tree or something. We couldn't get out. And living organisms, we decided one day we're going to get out and walk around. It took a while for us to figure out how to take the soil with us, right? You know what I mean? Yeah. And so to me, it's a very, so I told this guy, well, first of all, there's long-term and short-term, solutions.
Yes.
Right.
And that's what the pills are, because they're not treating the cause, they're treating the symptoms. But to treat the cause, we have to fix the soil and fix the plants that the animals eat so we can eat healthier ourselves.
Right. There are long-term and short. The long-term solution is the soil. They will get withdrawals if they got off the sugar right off the bat. I have a lady friend who has kids. They love Halloween because they have all this, and they hang on to that sugar. Oh, 1,000%. That's being mellow. That's being kind. That's being kind. The doctors, the manufacturing people. Well, there's a sugar people, the sugar company, and then there's a coffee company. There's two different companies that are always fighting with each other to produce the most toxic thing on the planet. And they do all kinds of things to coffee. And did you know coffee is a medicine if it's done correctly? You're supposed to have coffee within 24 to 48 hours of brewing it, not 6 months or a year later after it's been sitting there. Then it's toxic. On top of that, there's a big difference between organically grown coffee and chemically grown coffee. Big difference. Just
Now,
today.
I got to pull you back for a second, Andy, because
Oh
you got to
no.
explain that. You just said it's when it's roasted, it should be consumed within 24 hours. But you missed the roasted part. So once it's picked, it can store for quite a while. But yeah, once you've roasted it, you're supposed to use it within such a length of time.
Not exactly. I'm glad you brought that up because see, in the old days when people grew coffee, they would pick it, dry it, roast it, all within a few days.
Yeah.
See, right? Because it's a medicine ingredients in there that decays very, very fast.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're not getting the and coffee always has been also hallucinogenic. You take coffee in the right way, your body goes, hoo-hoo, whippy, yahoo, you know what I mean?
Okay, you better explain that way, Andy, because I could use some whippy right now. Okay.
So do you drink coffee?
Oh yeah, I drink about a pot a day.
Organic coffee?
You don't want to know.
So I'm your friend. I'm telling you, you got to stop that. Coffee is the secondly most sprayed than cotton. 76 different chemicals go into the production of coffee. 76 different chemicals are sprayed on the soil, are sprayed on the plant. And what's really weird is that you don't need to spray anything. No animal or creature we're going to eat a coffee plant or going to eat the coffee bean. No, caffeine is toxic in a lot of ways. Just this morning, I'm spraying. I go buy 10 bottles of cold brewed coffee.
Yeah.
Organic, the vanilla. Vanilla also happens to be a toxic to insects.
Okay.
And the lady says,
"There's the gold bar, guys."
Huh?
What? I said that's the gold bar, guys.
What was that?
Well, that vanilla is toxic to insects as well.
Oh yeah, vanilla is toxic to insects. If you can smell it, they can smell it. And as soon as they smell it, it's too late because it goes into their neural system. Okay. And there are lots of other things like that are toxic to insects, which we also like to enjoy, which has issues with our body too. But so you have to be careful with. I only drink organically grown coffee, and even then, I don't do 100% coffee. It's maybe 10% coffee, and I have other kinds of adaptogens and mushrooms that I make a drink with it, blended together. So it's really mostly the adaptogens and mushrooms. It's a little bit of coffee. I like the caffeine, But when I spray this, I get caffeine on me. I have to cover myself up. I'm like,
and you started the show like that, all covered up, you know.
Yeah. So I have a 100-gallon sprayer, which I also filter the water out. I use a Blue Boogie filtration filter. It's called Blue Boogie. Yes. So that when you're spraying something, you're only dealing with a short-term effect. Okay, I want to do something to help the tree out right now. So what I do is I get cold brewed coffee, vanilla flavored. I actually bought, and I could actually, if I was thinking about it, I have a little bottle of vanilla, organic vanilla.
Yeah.
You can take vanilla out of water. You want to do the homeopathic medicine. Use the smallest amount that'll work.
So what's the recommended, say, to 100-gallon sprayer? What's the recommended amount of vanilla?
So in a 100-gallon sprayer, I little bottles like that is probably maybe 2 ounces.
Okay.
I did 1 ounce in 100 gallons of water.
Okay. So there's your ratio, guy.
But I also did 10 bottles of cold brew coffee, which says equal to 40 cups of coffee.
Okay.
That went into the 100 gallons.
Right.
And then I sprayed it. And so that place had thrips. And the thrips is very interesting because they live inside. The leaves get curled up, and that's how it protects it. Right? Yeah. It protects it. So they spray chemicals. It doesn't work. I guess they're protected, right? But they're inside of they're protected. Right? Right? So coffee also happens to be a systemic.
Okay.
By the way, speaking of systemic, garlic will kill them too. Garlic is an excellent systemic. Mm-hmm. But so when you're spraying the coffee, the plant absorbs it. If you add the vanilla to it, it adds the scent to it. It adds an additional factor to it because the scent will permeate the plant, will go through the leaves, go everywhere, right? And so that kills them too. But the caffeine is what kills them. You
Well,
get
the caffeine you're saying allows the molecules in that really does the job. It's
right.
Yeah.
Caffeine also kills snails and snail eggs. It's been toxic to grasshopper. Yes, vanilla is toxic to almost every insect. You just also have to be careful spraying it on beneficials. You don't want the bees to be getting it, so you should spray it haphazardly everywhere. So when I was spraying a bush, I make sure there aren't any other. But usually, what happens is in the beginning I do a little bit of that, but then I switch over to microbial spray. I spray the microbes on them, and the microbes are so good they will not harm beneficials.
Yeah.
Let me see your ID. Oh, okay, you're good. Next, right?
Hey, this is military police here.
I swear that's what they
right
do.
Password.
A bee would love to get sprayed with garlic. I would spray. I did in the fertigation unit. I put garlic in it, so I buy the stuff called garlic barrier. It has like 1,000 bulbs of garlic in a gallon.
Ooh, that's a lot of garlic. Why you open that up? You're gonna smell it for a while.
Oh yeah. So I made a mistake and I dumped half of that gallon into my 100-gallon sprayer, and the whole neighborhood smelled like garlic. My machine smelled like garlic. I smelled it for about a week or two afterwards. People are going, "My God, you smell like garlic." Or the house was. This Italian came out. "Oh, I love the garlic." And so I overdid it. So I basically, all you have to do is a cup and 100 gallons of this garlic barrier. I also talked to the owner who made the garlic barrier. I said, it kills mosquitoes. One of my book is How to Kill Mosquitoes. And basically it's one page.
Garlic.
Yeah.
Garlic.
Right. And so and I think the title was How to Keep Mosquitoes from Biting You.
Okay. Yeah.
And you don't believe what I did. I don't want to get off the subject, but it's still the same thing. Is that the garlic does wonders. Garlic will control snails. It kills the snail eggs. Coffee, caffeine. If you drink coffee, you take the coffee ground, you put it in the soil. That will kill snail eggs.
Okay.
And people say, "Oh, it's going to kill the worms." The worms love the coffee. They love the caffeine.
I feed my worms coffee all the time.
It's an energy boost for them. They go, "Oh, coffee, wonderful." I was feeling a little down. Then they, right? So, what was I talking about? The garlic. So the way you keep mosquitoes, and basically any other creature that comes after you, because what does a mosquito does? A mosquito smells your scent.
Mm-hmm.
A scientist wrote an article saying mosquitoes go after meat eaters because they give off the right combination of stuff that they go, bingo, I'm going to go after that person, whatever it is, right? Animal, right? And so as a kid, I was always a very bad person. I'm not a good person. I was probably the one who led the panty raid. I was always the one that led panty raids.
Not you, Andy. I thought you were like this angel come from heaven.
No, I would sneak in there and stick everybody's panties and tie them up. I got so creative. I would tie them up on trees, and there would be like a panty tree. People go, "Who did that?" I'm looking. I don't know. I should know. What? Anybody know where? But so one of the things I love to do, because I've always been a fan of garlic.
Yeah. Yeah.
I grow this black garlic.
Mm-hmm.
You ever heard of black garlic?
Actually, I have heard of black garlic. I've never seen it, but I've heard of it.
It's an incredible miracle medicine. Chefs are using it, and it's very expensive. And I like to grow it. I don't have any place to grow it because I got these black garlic seeds. So when I was young, I ate garlic, and so a lot of times my mother would give me a sandwich or something. I said, make a garlic, put a lot of garlic on it, right?
Yeah.
And I would go eat it at school, and people would go, "Whoo, you're smelling like garlic." So somewhere
just think you were Italian or Portuguese. Come on.
So somewhere along the line, I got it into my head. I don't know if I saw it on TV or heard it from somebody or just figured it came in my woo. But it's so what I do is you get a garlic clove, you cut it in half, you take off the cover, the garlic stuff, cut it in half, put one in each shoe.
Yeah.
And so the garlic reverse flushes. So I remember now because I saw a doctor on TV say that garlic, if you do it that way, it reverse flushes your system. It takes toxic out, brings them out through your skin.
Yeah.
And I go, oh yeah, that's the thing to do. And I would go to school, not say this thing, hi, how are you? And they would go, oh God, what the hell? And the mosquitoes will not bite you. Mosquitoes will not find you. If they can't find you, they can't bite you. Insects, all the insects. All the insects. And I told my friend who's going to the Amazon, she's going to be doing this drug, Wakosa, what's the name of it? It's in the
ayahuasca?
Ayahuasca, right. She's going to find God. And I said, well, good luck because God's I have to go looking for it. She did the toad, nothing. The toad's one of the most powerful things. I did it. I had a wonderful time talking with alien friends in space. But anyway, so reverse flushing, the garlic comes out, mosquitoes can't find you. But the garlic, I was in Miami and they were doing spraying DDT for mosquitoes.
Yeah.
And I said, spray garlic. Spray garlic. Why don't you make some garlic, buy 2 gallons of this garlic barrier, put it in the 500 gallons of your ship, and then dump it on the city, and people go, oh, garlic. That's the worst that'll happen, but it'll kill the mosquitoes.
Yeah.
It would. Serious. I tell people, they say, don't let sitting water, because mosquito breach. Just spray a little bit of garlic on there. It forms a layer, kills them.
Cool. Yeah. So, I know I've used wheat straw in a swamp, because the mosquito larvae won't form. But yeah, I've never thought of using garlic. So
the last thing you want to do is spray garlic and coffee together. Don't do it.
Tell me why. Tell me why. Come on.
I did that. I put garlic and coffee in it. I'm spraying. I said, I don't know if I'm going to vomit or like it. I don't know. It's very strange. You smell the coffee, you smell the garlic. Oh God, I don't know. I think I may have got a little dizzy. I don't know what. No, don't spray the garlic and coffee at the same time because you're gonna have to wear a mask or something because this stuff is like caffeine goes right in, the garlic comes right in your nose. You're going, oh, garlic. It's like so you can. So I rotate. I will spray. And so now these things are only short-term solutions. When I first go to a place and if things are really diseased and really pests, you want to help the plants, relieve them a little bit. But you can't be doing that all the time. You rub a car lard on the soles of your feet and you taste it immediately. That's how it quickly absorbs into the bloodstream. Exactly, right. Exactly. Mm-hmm. Silly lady knows. And I told the ladies going to the Amazon, put a clove of garlic, cut it up, put it in your shoes. Don't worry about any of the insects biting. They will just stay away from you. Mountain lions, creatures like that, go, I don't think so.
You don't smell good to me. You go away.
Yeah. No. And the monkeys will go, oh, how do you know? Right. Exactly right. So the thing that people need to understand is that there's short-term and long-term solutions. So when you're dealing with a problem, you want to do something to immediately help it. Mm-hmm. Right. And so these are 2 very heavy tools to use. I mean, caffeine will get anything, and so will garlic. You will any insect, any pest, any thrips, whiteflies. I had a lady.
But it has to be organic coffee.
Exactly right, because otherwise you're spraying the pesticide. You're going to get a concentrate, especially, and I'm glad you mentioned it, because they have cold brew coffee organic. All these other ones are concentrated. So let me think about it for a second. It took me a nanosecond to say, I'm not touching that. Imagine me spraying this coffee that's chemically has 72 different chemicals in it, and it's concentrated. I mean, it's more of the chemical. They don't filter out the chemical. You're getting more of the chemicals in it.
Yeah.
Right? There are 2 tools, the caffeine and the garlic, right there, that you learn how to immediately help a scenario that you're having with problems. Both of them, by the way, happen to be really good at controlling disease. Another thing you can spray, is that a joint?
Yeah.
Yeah, blow this over
Yeah.
here. What I do is I have a pipe, but I didn't want to. I didn't want to offend
I
people. I didn't want to offend people.
I think most of the people that come to this channel understand that we're need medical cannabis for our pain, and when we're in pain, we have to consume medical cannabis. So we do.
Speaking of which, you do not want to spray your marijuana plants with garlic or caffeine.
I'm glad you said that, because because the guys that were asking, they grow cannabis. So yeah, I'm glad you
Right.
kind of said that.
That's a no, because you're going to taste the caffeine or the garlic. Now, if you like garlic, I read somewhere that somebody actually did that, and you're smoking it, you're smoking it, and it's very good for edibles, and you go, oh, garlic.
I wonder if that would have worked with the old school skunk strains if we had to bread it with garlic. Would it cut the smell? Yeah.
The way you do it is really cool because you're growing your pot plant or any plant. So I learned that garlic doesn't have to be sprayed. You can bear it. You can plant a clove of garlic under the plant. When the plant starts growing, the garlic, the marijuana or any, I do that to protect tomatoes. So how you control tomatoes from the tomato hornworm. If you keep the brick level at 23 or higher, the tomato hornworm won't attack it. But if you are an idiot and don't know anything about feeding properly, you plant a bulb of garlic at the base of the tomato plant, and it absorbs it immediately. As soon as it starts growing, you'll taste the garlic in the tomato. And
now, I want to point out something Diggity Dank is saying. I had grasshoppers eat right through plants coated in garlic.
Right. So what I'm hearing a lot of is that, these things evolve. These things say, oh, fine, I'm going to just go for it anyway. So they do. That's the nature of these insects. They will start evolving to a way that they can deal with that. So that means these are just short-term solutions, not long-term solutions. See, if you make it a long-term solution, okay. So the first grasshopper may come and die, or maybe go back to his family and die. But the second generation will be a little bit more immune to it. The third generation, by the fourth and fifth generation, go ahead, hit me. The same thing with malatine, any of these chemicals. The bugs are like, hit me. I don't care. I love it. Oh, yeah, it doesn't bother them at all anymore. So it happens in the organic world as well. That's why you always have to key into a long-term situation. The person who has the grasshopper.
And what's the long term? It's all about the biology, guys. That's the long-term solution.
What did he say about the grasshoppers? What was attacking? What was he covering it with?
Let's see.
So he said plants, right? So any kind of plants, right? Yeah. So, what I would tell him is that, do you know what the Brix level of your plants are? Go ahead, answer me. Whoever said that, go ahead. Just say no. It's okay.
Well, okay. The thing is, how many people actually know how to check bricks? How many people actually have a refractometer and know how to use it? I don't have a refractometer, so there's not that many people that actually do.
And that's exactly what I want to get across to here now, and forevermore. You always hear me mention the word bricks, refractometer. As long as I've been around, I just never thought I'm trying to get to high enough bricks they won't eat them. Right. So you have to remember, the higher the bricks level, the more minerals. So you in order to raise the bricks level higher, you have to have a blend of minerals. So if you only added one mineral, you only go so high. It won't go up as high as you want it to go. So the higher you go up, the means you're succeeding in blending the minerals. And that's why rock dust comes in, because rock dust is a blend of minerals. And if you get a blend of rock dust, you're going to get even more variety of minerals, because some rock dusts are deficient in certain minerals, right?
Yeah.
So you get a blend, that's why you also want to get other sources like the C90, SEA 90 trace minerals. Yeah. So the more trace minerals you have, the bricks level is going to start going up, and the diseases and pests goes down.
I have to ask you, Andy, because we'd mentioned this before. Have you put up? You were talking about putting up a link to a doctor that had a chart or something like that on your website. Have you managed to do that yet?
I don't know where to put it up. I have to probably put it. I know what I'll do. I'll force you guys to go to my website and read the blog. I'll put the link. I don't know if I can put a link. I have to. maybe I can attach it as a file or something, because there's no, it's not online.
Well, see, if you have an email list, everybody could join your email list, and then you could send everybody the email.
I do have an email.
Then there you go, guys.
That's how you
join Andy's email list, and he can put it out to you guys on email.
Right. So all you have to do is sign up for the newsletter, and and as soon as I get more than one people saying I want to know about that bricks level chart, bada bing, bada boom, you get the newsletter come out with it. I should be able to attach it to the newsletter. I should be able.
Yeah. And if you have any troubles, just reach out, Andy.
What you need to do is you need to tell me next show if you want to. I'll put it on one of my link, what do they call it? Link. You can open up, share. Let me share it, and you'll see it, and we can go through it a little bit.
Sure.
I'll bring it up on the screen, and we can just go through it a little bit. And in the screen, I think in the book, and towards the end of it, it tells you how to get a hold of the guy that did it, how to get it.
And there's a question from Diggity.
No soil. No, it's not a soil thing. The only way I would do it, the way I do it in the soil is because is when I have. Okay, so today I went out to a place, and so I used about maybe. It was like a tiny cup, which is about 2 tablespoons of the C90. And I don't put it in directly in the 100 gallons of water anymore, because a lot of it was just come down to the bottom and it'd be concentrated as it comes out. So I pre-mix it, dissolve it in a liquid, pre-dissolve that in liquid. But then I add my microbes to it, and I don't want to put a concentration of the salt, the C90 into the microbes. I have a suspicion that may be damaging them. Mm-hmm. They're not, so I add it to the water, which dilutes it enough, and I aerate it. And I just added some molasses for them, and I added. I have I'm happy to go through with everybody a lot of my sources of microbes, because you can buy, you can make your own microbes, which is the best way. I have videos of my worm farm, which, by the way, this lady killed all the worms in it, so I have to go through that process.
Are you bringing that link up, Andy? You're supposed to be sharing your screen. Focus.
No, not now.
Oh, not now. Okay. We'll do a whole show on it then.
I asked you to, you focus. I asked you to, next show, remind me in advance. I'll have a screen already set up with that book. I have it on my Mac, so I have to transfer it from my Mac over to the PC. And I've had that. But I was asking the question to the person, is that the only way I would do it in the soil if in combination with the microbes, let the microbes get added first. Yeah. If you add it to the soil, you're going to have the odds are you're going to be adding too much, because it's a salt. It will destroy the biology of the soil. Yeah. Right?
Yeah. And you have to let the microbes eat it first and process it, break it down.
It's really good as a foliar sprayer, but again, you don't spray it by itself. You spray it in combination with your compost tea. So what I do is I blend Epsom salt, which is magnesium sulfate, with the C90. So it gives them the magnesium and a little bit of a higher concentration. And again, there's only 2 tablespoons of the Epsom salt, 2 tablespoons of the C90 goes into that 100 gallons.
And you're pre-mixing it to make sure that it's actually mixed into the water before you even add it in. And then you're aerating.
I mix it with the microbes and I aerate it. And I don't do it every month. Certain times of the year is the best time to do it. The rest of the time is a waste of time. You do not want to be feeding them the magnesium sulfate, which is Epsom salt, or the C90 every time. The ideal time to do the trace minerals, when you want to get trace minerals of the plants, is like down here for us, is wintertime. In California, it's wintertime. Because whatever you give them this season, that's when they can be manufacturing this following season. Yeah. So if you're in this place where it's snow and kind of stuff like that, you do it before the snow comes. Okay. So the snowpack will do it. Like I used to make compost and they get covered with snow, and when it got done, the spring would show up. There was the compost ready to be used. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Right? So so you can actually spray it and feed it that way, so they get the minerals before winter times, and then it gets processed in the soil. When spring comes, they start processing, and then bingo, you have it. Yeah. Right.
Well, have you been adding it to your compost? If you're doing a
No.
compost extract, have you ever tried that? Because then it's built into your compost extract.
Right. So adding it to the compost, you have to add it in a homeopathic level. Because remember, so the only way to add it is the same thing. You take a tablespoon, you dissolve it in a gallon of water, dissolve it.
Yeah, yeah.
And then take that gallon of water, put it in the 5 gallon of water, and then that's what you spray. And you can spray the soil that way, but never spray it by itself. Spray it with something else. So I would add different types of microbes to that mixture. Fish emulsion is really good as long as it doesn't have the urea, for example. You know what I mean? You can, like Leighton has this really cool little fish ball products, little
fish brew.
Yeah, right. You know that you can make a tea out of. So you can you can make a tea out of, make a compost tea, and that's what I would spray. You're not going to use the soil with it. Never spray any one thing because Mother Nature doesn't do that.
No, she's a monoculture.
Yeah, she takes all kinds of stuff and it goes out. So I having this really cool discussion. My very first day in University of Florida, I made a mistake. I took agriculture, okay? And the teacher said there's no difference in nitrogen. It's nitrogen. So whether it comes from a chemical source or a natural source. I'm going, excuse me, hello? And
have you read this book and this book and this book, lady? Because you're wrong.
And he said, Lopez, what do you want? I said, there is a big difference. Tell the plants that. Yeah. Secondly, urea is 4600. Urea was named after urine in animals. Animals, lucky if it gets it up to 2%. And it's not just by itself. It's a blend of all these other enzymes and microbes and everything else that the animals put out, right? You know what I mean? It's not just one thing. It's a freaking blend of everything. The big difference. You know what happens if you feed plants a chemical is 4600 or the soil? You get zombie microbes.
Zombie microbes, and
zombie microbes. Up. These microbes like wow, oh, what do you want about? You know what I mean? It's like holy cow.
That sounds like ninja microbes. What you just did, man.
And the plants themselves, people like high nitrogen because the plants go boom. Yeah, but they're weak. Do the Brix level on them. They might have a 4 or 5 because high nitrogen inhibits the absorption of minerals. Not a coincidence. Mother Nature doesn't want you to have high nitrogen.
No, and that kind of like what Diggity is saying, right?
Yes, that's the whole basis for the biodynamic system. Real science says, hey, all these plants have minerals in it. Let's put them together. Put them in the stomach of a cow because the cow got the right microbe, and that's our preparation. That's how you get all the trace minerals. They don't worry about rock dust because they get it from the plants. Even though ideally there's a thing of soil depletion. You want to put it back in the soil. Right?
That hasn't happened on this planet. No. Our soils are perfectly dead. Oh, no, sorry. I wasn't supposed to say that. Our soils are alive. Yes.
Normally, the way nature made it, all the minerals are there you need. The microbes are there. You don't need to do anything to keep it alive. Yeah. But we have disrupted that natural cycle that Mother Nature does.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. You know, when was the last time an animal came and died in your backyard? There used to be billions and trillions of animals all over the place, everywhere, pooping and dying, all this. And the Mother Nature was constantly putting leaves, all kinds of. When's the last? Have you been to a forest, a big rainforest?
I've never been to a rainforest, but I'm a kid from the plains of Alberta, so I've been in a lot of bush in my life. Yeah.
A rainforest is the soil. It has a 10-foot layer of leaves already, all that kind of stuff before it gets into the other things. And the microbes are everywhere in the air, underneath. One guy was spraying, when you foliar spray, only foliar spray underneath the leaf because that's where they get their food from. And I says that you can spray the underneath, on top of the leaves, the trunk, anywhere you want to, they will get it.
Exactly. The biology is everywhere.
And he was saying, well, don't you have to really... Why are you spraying during the day? Because it's going to dry if you go on really fast. Said, no, it's instant. You absorb it instantly. It's just like the garlic goes in your body instantly. Yeah. And that's why I started spraying because I learned from experience. It's going to take a while for the root system and the soil to come back. In the interim, I got to do something. So the spraying is basically a immediate effect. Yeah.
Yeah,
You know,
putting on the bug spray because you don't want to get bit by the mosquito. That's an but we need to go back into and fix the root of the problem. It's like the doctors and the illness that in our bodies, they're not treating the root cause. In our bodies, we need to treat the root cause in us and in our soils. And by
exactly.
doing the soils, we help getting back what we need in our bodies when we consume that.
The root cause is the food we eat. And
the chemicals in the food you're eating. That's why that fast food is really hurting you, man.
So the food, and if the food we eat is grown with a soil that doesn't have the proper minerals we need, we're not going to ever get that.
Yeah.
See what I mean? So you can say there's an effect cause, another cause, and another cause. You want to go to the original cause of what the problem is. To me, the original cause is mankind. That's the original cause. Okay. Human beings as the original cause. That's your wife. I sense her moving around there in the corner.
Oh yeah, hold on. Wait, which question, Lily?
The one you keep bringing up.
He answered it.
But
okay, he read the question and said yes, and yes, my wife is down here going. He didn't answer that question, but you did.
Yeah, I did. I said you. Yeah, you. And that's that's why I started talking about biodynamic and Rudolf Steiner. That's exactly what he says.
My wife's old. The hearing, must be going.
I can take a walk through a park, and I used to give a walk, nature walk, and I can tell you, okay, that soil is deficient in mineral because that plant's rich in mineral. You consider it wheat, but that plant is bringing up iron, and you know that soil is deficient in iron.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's what plants do. Weeds are like. Basically, that's what they do. They take up the minerals and bring it up, but the minerals have to be there for them to get it.
Yes, exactly.
That's the thing. And we have depleted the soil so bad that it doesn't work as well anymore. We don't have the ability. So when you do the plants, you have to make sure that you're feeding them in the soil. So if they're growing in the proper environment, right, and you're feeding the soil really well, and you're doing everything for the trace minerals, yes, the plants will be minerally rich, and you can put those. Well,
that's what Ghetto Hippie is saying. If we properly use materials, we can create a closed loop system with minimal losses.
Right. So you want to be, excuse me, the key word now is regenerative.
Yes. You're recycling the minerals constantly back into the same system, the same plants.
The key word is regenerative. You set up a system that it can eventually be closed. You don't need anything else because everything recycles right back in again, right back over and over and over again, and then you're part of that system too. You eat the food, you don't throw anything away. Nothing leaves your property. It stays there. You have animals. That's why a farm is so good because you have everything you need right there. And you should, you will have, initially you have to start bringing in the minerals and start doing the thing to grow. But once it gets to a certain state, they're not going anywhere. You know what I mean? You have worms, you have all these creatures, the microbes are there, and those systems, you have to stop giving them city water, for example.
Well, the thing is, like, a farmer can't do that because he's pulling off the crop and losing so he's got to replenish those minerals. But it's all micro doses. Like, everybody thinks that, it's a huge amount, but a 50-pound bag of, say, calcium does a huge amount of field.
So I would not tell a person to apply this to calcium. You want to apply the calcium with other minerals.
I was just using that as an example, Andy. But yes.
I can give you an example of a better source of calcium, milk.
Yes. Yeah.
But
we got one more question, and then we're almost at the hour. So does Andy know anything about sulfur cinquefoil?
I have no idea what cinquefoil is.
Yeah, neither do I.
I know what sulfur is, but I'm not sure what that word is. I've never heard it before in my life. I've never heard it. So maybe hence benefits of mushrooms. Is that the same person who asked the question for the sulfur?
No, that's somebody new.
Right, and the mushrooms are really cool because they essentially do the same thing. They pull up the minerals. So you're getting all these really rich minerals when you're eating the mushroom. And you're also getting the mycelium. You're also getting all these other things back into your body that you normally really need as well.
Oh, we need so much we're not getting, but
One of my favorite things to spray: coffee, cream, and sugar. All organic, of course. Then you have a nice blend of
and garlic. Don't forget the garlic.
Don't spray at the same time. Never spray garlic and milk either. That's awful too. Okay, guys, visit my website, please, invisiblegardener.com. Maybe you can show this thing on the way out. We don't have any time, or you didn't do it.
Oh no, invisiblegardener.com. I put it up.
The videos are no good. That's right. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that. Yeah. Sorry,
You can
Andy.
get the newsletter from there. You can get the newsletter from there. Sign up. Might as well do it.
Anyway, guys, as for me, I've got the one more show tomorrow with Luna, Whitcomb, and Tony. That starts at the same time this one did, 6 p.m. Pacific. So you guys will want to check that one out tomorrow. So other than that, guys, peace.